Figure it out yourself. That's what my wife Lauren shouted as she revved the engine and left me standing in a gas station lot in Bozeman, Montana, 200 miles from our home in Denver. Her sisters, Rachel and Qley, were cackling in the back seat like it was the funniest thing they'd ever witnessed. My name's Mike. I'm 34, work construction for Apex Builders, and I'd been married to Lauren for 8 years. We'd driven up for her cousin's wedding, meant to be a weekend trip. Just the 4 of us in her SUV, splitting fuel costs and hotel rooms. The whole drive up, something felt off. Lauren kept exchanging glances with her sisters in the rearview mirror, whispering when they thought I wasn't paying attention. When I asked what was up, she'd flash a smile and say, "Nothing, hun, just sister talk." I should have trusted my instincts. We stopped for gas an hour outside Bozeman. I went inside to grab a soda and use the bathroom. When I came out, they were already in the car, engine humming. Lauren lowered her window with a strange smirk. "Get in, Lauren," I said, approaching the passenger side. "Actually," she said, "we've been talking, and we think you need to work on your independence." "What's that supposed to mean?" Rachel leaned forward from the back seat. "You're always so clingy, Mike, trailing Lauren like a lost dog." "We figured this'd be good for you," Qley added. "A little challenge." I stood there, keys in hand, except they were house keys, not car keys. My truck was back in Denver, parked in our driveway. "This isn't funny," I said. "Whatever game this is, stop it." Lauren's grin widened. "It's not a game, it's a prank. You're always so serious, Mike. Loosen up, figure it out yourself," she yelled, flooring the gas. I watched their taillights vanish down Highway 191, left with my wallet, phone, and the sinking realization that my wife and her sisters had just ditched me in the middle of nowhere. The October chill sliced through my coat, and I could smell snow in the air. I called Lauren's phone, straight to voicemail. I tried Rachel's. Same deal. Qley had blocked me months ago after some petty argument I barely remembered. That's when I knew this wasn't a quick prank they'd laugh off in an hour. This was something darker, something that revealed exactly what my wife and her sisters thought of me. I walked back into the gas station and asked the cashier how much a bus ticket to Denver would cost. "No buses stop here," he said. "Greyhound runs through Bozeman, though, about 40 miles east. I met Lauren 9 years ago on a job site. She was an environmental analyst for a commercial build my crew was on. Sharp, charming, with a knack for making me feel like I was the only one in the room when she spoke. Her sisters were different. Rachel, 2 years older, worked in PR for a tech startup. Always had an opinion on everything. Qley, 28, was still figuring out her path, but never lacked attitude. From the start, they acted like I was stealing their sister. Family dinners were filled with inside jokes I couldn't follow. Trips where they'd plan outings without asking if I wanted in. Little things that piled up over time. "They're just protective," Lauren would say when I mentioned it. "They'll come around." But they never did. If anything, they got worse after we married. Rachel started commenting that I was holding Lauren back from exploring the world, taking risks. Qley would scoff whenever I offered to fix something, like a flat tire or a leaky faucet. "Not everything needs a guy to fix it," she'd snap. I noticed other things too. How Lauren was always texting when we were together, always with her sisters. How she'd cancel plans last minute because Rachel or Qley had some emergency that needed her immediately. Last year, Lauren forgot our anniversary helping Qley move apartments. The year before, she missed my birthday dinner because Rachel was fighting with her boyfriend. "Family comes first," she'd always say. I understood that. I respected it. But I was supposed to be family too. The red flags were clear on the Montana trip. How they insisted I didn't need my truck since we'd all ride together. How Lauren booked the hotel under her name only. How Rachel kept joking about my lack of spontaneity. "Remember when you used to be fun?" Qley asked from the back seat. "Before you got all settled and dull?" I brushed it off, but it hurt. I worked 60-hour weeks to keep us comfortable. I fixed things around the house, planned trips, remembered milestones. I thought that's what being a good husband meant. Standing in that gas station lot, watching the sun dip behind the Montana hills, I realized I'd been wrong. Not about being a good husband, but about who I'd married. The cashier let me use the station's phone to call a Bozeman cab company. A $60 ride I couldn't really afford, but I needed to reach the bus station. The bus to Denver took 14 hours. Update 1. The escalation. The weekend arrived. Lila came back Friday afternoon like nothing happened. Found me in my home office sorting client files. We need to talk about us. Okay, let me save this document. That's the problem. You prioritize everything else. Closing the file. I'm listening. I need passion. Fire. When I mention other guys, you should claim me. Claim you? You're not an object. You know what I mean. It's like you don't find me desirable anymore. I see you as an adult who makes her own choices. What if I said I kissed Nate? Did you? Would you even care? Of course. Cheating would end this relationship. That's it? No fighting for me? No, how could you? What would that achieve? She started crying, not sad tears, frustrated ones. Her manipulation wasn't working. My ex would have decked Nate. Your ex sounds like he had anger issues. At least he cared. Lila, what do you actually want? Through tears. I want you to show you love me. I show that by respecting you, supporting your dreams, staying faithful. By being jealous. By not wanting to share me. I don't share you. I also don't own you. She went full throttle, started texting in front of me, exaggerated typing, dramatic sighs, finally showed me her screen. She'd messaged Nate. He doesn't care. Come get me? If that's what you want. You're really letting me leave with another guy? I'm not letting you do anything. You're choosing. This is crazy. Fight for me. I don't fight for people who use others as weapons. Nate arrived 20 minutes later. Lila made a spectacle of packing an overnight bag. I documented everything. Snapped a photo of Nate's car in my driveway. Saved her location data showing her at his place. That night, she posted stories from his apartment. Wine glasses. Netflix queue. Just enough to be blatant. Her friends ate it up in the comments. Slay, queen. Know your worth. He didn't deserve you. I spent the night updating my records, changed my apartment's smart lock code, revoked her access to my streaming accounts, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Calm, Systematic. Monday morning, she showed up for work clothes. I'm moving in with Nate. Okay. When do you want to pick up your stuff? That's it? Just okay? What else should I say? How about please don't go or I love you or anything? Would that change your choice? Maybe. So you're moving in with Nate to make me jealous? He values me. Then I'm happy for you both. She lost it. Through accusations. I was emotionally neglectful, distant, manipulative, gaslighting her. I stayed composed, recorded the conversation on my phone, single-party consent state. Then she went all in on social media. After 2 years, I found the strength to leave my emotionally abusive relationship. He was so detached, so calculated. Textbook narcissist, withholding love to control me. I'm free now, survivor strong. Emotional abuse, narcissist. My phone blew up. Mutual friends asking if it was true, her friends attacking me in comments, my professional reputation at risk. Time to protect myself. Update 2. The documentation. Her smear campaign gained traction fast. Within 48 hours, I lost 3 mutual friends who bought her story instantly. Received dozens of "how could you" messages. Got tagged in posts about spotting emotional abuse. 2 clients canceled, citing personal concerns. But I'd been prepared. First, I consulted my lawyer friend, Ethan. She's making public accusations? All over social media, calling me a narcissist, emotionally abusive. You documented everything? Showed him my folder. timestamps, screenshots, recordings. This is thorough. She admitted to wanting you jealous? Multiple times. In writing, send me everything. If she escalates, we'll need it. She escalated. Thursday, I got a call from my practice's director. We received a disturbing complaint. My stomach dropped. Someone claimed you're under investigation for emotional abuse, said you use your therapy skills to manipulate partners. Let me guess. Anonymous? Number A, Miss Lila Walsh. Your ex? Current ex, yes. Can I provide context? Showed him my evidence. Her texts demanding jealousy. The screenshot of her accidental cheating admission. The timeline of her escalating behavior. She admitted to provoking jealousy? Repeatedly. I have recordings of her saying I should fight for her and be possessive. This looks like false reporting. We'll need to document this. Meanwhile, Lila's narrative was unraveling. She forgot that Nate's ex, Tara, was still tied to their social circle. Tara saw Lila's posts and contacted me. Hey, odd message, but is Lila with Nate now? Apparently. What do you want, Lauren? I want you to come home. Let's talk like adults. Talk about what? How you ditched me 200 miles from home? How you and your sisters planned it for months? Her expression shifted. The worried wife act slipped for a second, revealing annoyance, like I was being unreasonable. It was a prank, Mike. You're acting like we broke the law. You stranded me. You laughed about it. You planned it for months. Because you needed it, she said. And there it was, the real reason. You're so needy, so dependent. We thought if you had to solve something on your own for once, you'd grow up. The lobby was silent, except for the hum of fluorescent lights. I looked at this woman I'd married 8 years ago and realized I didn't know her at all. I'm not coming home, I said. Don't be absurd. You can't just vanish because your ego got bruised. Watch me. I turned and headed to the elevator. She followed, talking faster, making promises, threats, excuses that didn't add up, but I tuned her out. When the elevator doors closed, she was still talking. Friday morning, I got a text from an unknown number. This is Rachel. Lauren's a mess. You need to fix this. I showed it to Nick over coffee. Change your number, he said. So I did. 3 weeks later, I was settling into a new routine. Work at the school site during the day, helping Nick with his car on weekends, learning what it felt like to make choices without checking with someone else. I found a small apartment on the south side of Colorado Springs. Nothing special, but it was mine. No debates about decor or TV shows. No compromises on meals. For the first time in years, I felt like myself again. Then my mom called. Mike, honey, Lauren stopped by the house. I'd been dodging my parents' calls, not ready to explain the split. But Lauren had no such reservations. What did she tell you? I asked. She said you're having some kind of crisis, that you took off after a family trip and won't answer her calls. I could hear the concern in my mom's voice. Mom always liked Lauren, thought she was good for me, steady, responsible. It's not a crisis, Mom. We're having issues. What kind of issues can't be worked out? I didn't want to dive into the details. Didn't want to explain the group chats, the planning, or the months of subtle cruelty leading to that Montana moment. It'd sound trivial, like I was blowing a prank out of proportion. I'll call you later, Mom. I need to figure some things out. But after hanging up, I realized Lauren was still spinning the story, making me look like the unstable one, the one who'd abandoned his marriage over nothing. I drove back to Denver that weekend. Not to the house Lauren and I shared, but to my friend Derek's place. He was in construction too, had been at our wedding. Heard you and Lauren split, he said when I arrived. Sorry, man. What did you hear? Just that you bailed after some argument. She seemed pretty upset. There it was, Lauren's version, where I was the villain who overreacted and ditched his wife. Derek offered me a beer and we sat on his deck. I told him the real story. All of it. That's messed up, he said when I finished. Why would she do that? I think she wanted me gone, I said. Not forever, but I think she enjoyed having the power to hurt me, to show me I didn't matter. Derek was quiet for a moment. Then, you know what I remember about your wedding? I shook my head. During the reception, you were chatting with some of my crew. Just normal stuff. But every time you laughed or looked like you were having fun, Lauren would come over and pull you away. Some excuse about needing to greet this aunt or take pictures with that group. I remembered that. How she kept interrupting my conversations, saying we had to thank someone or pose for photos. I thought she was just being a good host, I said. Maybe, or maybe she didn't like seeing you happy without her. That night, I drove by the house Lauren and I had shared. Her SUV was in the driveway, lights on in the living room. I saw her silhouette moving inside. I didn't stop, didn't slow down, just drove past and kept going. But seeing that house, remembering the life I'd built there, made me realize something crucial. I wasn't just escaping a toxic marriage. I was moving towards something better. Over the next few months, I took steps I should have taken years ago. Opened my own bank account, transferred my share of our savings, found a lawyer specializing in divorce cases. The lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Ellen Harper, listened to my story without judgment. Do you have proof of the harassment? She asked. I showed her the blocked numbers on my phone, the messages from Rachel and Qley, the calls to my workplace. And she went to your parents' house? Yeah. Told them I was having a breakdown. Ellen jotted notes on her legal pad. We can work with this. Colorado's a no-fault divorce state, but the harassment could matter for other reasons. I signed the papers that afternoon. Ellen would handle serving Lauren and starting the process. One more thing, she said as I left. Don't respond to any contact attempts. No calls, texts, or in-person visits. Anything you say could be used to paint you as unstable or spiteful. What if she shows up at my job? Document it. Call the police if needed, but don't engage. The school renovation project was going well. I'd been promoted to site supervisor, overseeing a crew of 5. The work was consistent, the pay was solid, and no one cared about my personal life as long as I showed up and did my job. I started night classes at the community college, construction management, something I'd always wanted to pursue but never had time for when Lauren and her sisters were constantly demanding my attention. For the first time in years, I had space to think, to figure out what I wanted instead of reacting to others' expectations. 2 months after filing for divorce, Nick called me at work. Your lawyer needs to talk to you. Says it's urgent. I met Ellen at her office that afternoon. She had a stack of papers and a satisfied expression. Your wife's been busy, she said. She hired a lawyer, and they're claiming abandonment. Says you left without warning and refused counseling. Abandonment? It's a stretch, but they're arguing your departure was intentional and malicious. They want to contest the asset split. I felt a chill settle in. Even now, Lauren was trying to control the narrative. But here's the good part, Ellen continued. I had an investigator do some digging. Your wife's been telling people you turned abusive, and she had to escape for her safety. That's a lie. I know, and we can prove it. The investigator found social media posts from the weekend I was stranded. Photos of Lauren and her sisters partying at a bar in Bozeman. Captions about girls' weekend and freedom. Ellen showed me printouts of Instagram posts. Lauren and her sisters clinking shot glasses, big grins, posted at 11 p.m. the same night they'd left me at the gas station. This kills their narrative, Ellen said. They can't claim they feared you while celebrating your absence. I stared at the photos. In one, Rachel was wearing my Rockies cap, the one I'd left in the car when I went into the gas station. There's more, Ellen said. The investigator also found the group chat messages. Lauren was careless with her privacy settings. She handed me a stack of papers, screenshots of the chats I'd seen on her laptop, plus dozens more I hadn't. Months of scheming, joking about my reactions, betting on how long it'd take me to crawl back. We file our response tomorrow, Ellen said, "and then we end this." The divorce hearing was set for a Tuesday in March. I wore my best suit, the one I'd married Lauren in 8 years ago. She sat at the other table with her lawyer, a slick guy who looked expensive. She'd lost weight, looked drained. When our eyes met across the courtroom, she tried to smile, like we were still allies. Her lawyer went first. Portrayed me as an erratic husband who'd abandoned his wife over a minor misunderstanding. Claimed I'd vanished without warning, refused counseling, and was punishing Lauren for a harmless prank. Your Honor, Mr. Mike Larson clearly used a trivial family disagreement as an excuse to exit his marriage. Ellen stood when it was our turn. Calm, professional, lethal. Your Honor, I'd like to submit evidence that refutes the petitioner's claims. She handed the judge the screenshots, social media posts, and harassment records. Piece by piece, she dismantled Lauren's story. These are text messages between the petitioner and her sisters, planning the prank for months. Here are social media posts from the night they abandoned my client, celebrating their actions. And here are records of ongoing harassment after my client requested no contact. The judge reviewed the documents silently. Lauren's lawyer whispered urgently to her, but I saw the panic in her eyes. Furthermore, Ellen continued, the petitioner has spread false claims about my client's mental state and character to mutual contacts and family. This is a pattern of manipulation and emotional abuse, not the actions of a concerned spouse. When the judge looked up, his expression was neutral, but firm. Based on the evidence, I'm granting the divorce as requested. Assets will be split equally. No spousal support awarded to either party, as the court finds no evidence of abandonment or abuse by the respondent. Lauren tried to approach me in the courthouse hallway, but Ellen stepped in. No contact, she said firmly. The order is still active. I walked to my truck without looking back. 3 years after that gas station in Montana, it was finally done. The construction management courses paid off. 6 months later, I launched my own company, Larson Builds. Small projects at first, kitchen remodels, porch repairs, but the work was steady, and clients valued a contractor who kept promises. Nick became my first hire. Then Derek joined when word spread we were reliable and didn't skimp on quality. I bought a modest house on the west side of Colorado Springs. Nothing grand, but it had a garage for my tools and a yard for thinking. No shared decisions about furniture or wall colors. About a year after the divorce finalized, I ran into Derek at the hardware store. Heard about Lauren? He asked. I hadn't thought about her in months. What about her? Divorced again. Married some guy from her office 6 months after your divorce. Lasted about a year. I grabbed the nails I'd come for and headed to the register. Don't you want to know what happened? Derek called after me. Not really, and I meant it. Lauren and her sisters eventually faced the fallout of their actions. Rachel lost her PR job after her harassment of me raised liability concerns for her company. Qley's attempts to spread false stories about me backfired when mutual friends cross-checked her claims and realized she was lying. Lauren's quick remarriage and second divorce tarnished her reputation in our old social circle, leaving her increasingly isolated from the people she'd tried to impress. Some lessons only come the hard way,